This KeloLearn Living segment is sponsored by Axiom Chiropractic and Neuropathy, whose focus is helping individuals with numb, painful feet and weak legs get their strength and balance back, the true meaning of health.
Today we're exploring a hidden challenge of cancer treatment, chemotherapy-induced neuropathy.
It's a tough battle for many, causing pain, numbness, and tingling in the hands and feet, but there is hope.
Dr. Justin Wubin and his patient Pat Book are here today to help us discover why patients are traveling up to 10 hours to Axiom finding relief.
Listen carefully because you're to learn how they're helping patients regain their lives when they were told that nothing could be done. Welcome.
Hello.
So tell us how this began. How long ago did you receive chemotherapy?
Well, I discovered I had cancer in January, and I started chemotherapy in April. And so I did 18 weeks of chemotherapy and then radiation after. But the neuropathy started probably 2 weeks after the chemo.
So pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly.
What were the symptoms you noticed first?
The tingling of the toes and the aching, the feet were very sore. I got to the point where my feet were like walking on glass, just broken glass all the time. So to step, it was like, you kind of didn't know where to step because it hurt so bad, and my balance was really getting bad too. So,
Just really, yeah. I mean, you said you didn't want to even stand up.
No. I said for me to sit on the couch was fine because just to go to the bathroom was like painful. So I just dreaded that point of having to get up and walk to the bathroom. So
Are there parts of the day where it's better or worse?
No, it was a total all the time. And at night in bed, you could still feel that shards of glass. So
explain to us what chemotherapy-induced neuropathy is.
All right, so with just peripheral neuropathy in general is where there's damaged nerves in the hands and the feet. A lot of the symptoms are the numbness, the tingling, pins, needles. And so when you have chemo-induced, there's like hundreds, if not thousands, of potential causes. But specifically, like even when my dad had cancer, he went through the chemo and the radiation. A lot of the peripheral nerves in the hands and the feet are the ones that really get hit first. So anything like the blood vessels or the nerves are the ones that get really damaged by a lot of the medication, with the hopes to obviously hit and attack the cancer. But on the tail end, you get left with a lot of those symptoms, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
What are the treatments that you do? How quickly do they help?
For everyone, it's different. It depends on severity, the time frame. How do you mind sharing?
2 weeks after starting this program, my feet felt so much better. I was back to walking and doing things again.
And you didn't even know that you were maybe at risk for neuropathy either. So at first you're probably wondering like what's happening.
Right, because they kept asking about, is my feet doing okay? And I kept thinking, well, yeah, my feet are fine. But then you figure out, yeah, it's the neuropathy that's starting, because then just by looking and Googling, you find these things, yes. So you get that neuropathy. And then they say, well, they can give you drugs that will kind of help with the pain, but it doesn't cure that. It's like you have to live with it constantly from one pill to the next. So that's not for me. I'm not a pill taker.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
So that's where you then found the solution.
We heard like an ad, and it just said a $49 consultation. They'll tell you if they can help you or not. And it was the best $49 ever spent. And I would pay triple what I did to come and get it done because I was very pleased and happy.
This is the first time that I'm hearing that chemotherapy can cause that. Are there other medications that do this?
Yeah, there's, different medications or chemicals or just certain things. Again, the whole goal, and again, I'm a chiropractor, so I'm not against medical doctors. The second we start making comments, I can't tell people to stop taking things, but when someone has certain side effects from different medications, there could be, but especially with a lot of chemo and radiation, the whole goal there is to attack a lot of the cancerous cells, but what it does is it also hits the good tissues as well. And so again, I have some good friends who are medical doctors, but in the tail end, their goal is to hit the cancer, but unfortunately, a lot of those peripheral nerves are the ones that get hit.
Is there a percentage of how many people who get chemotherapy get neuropathy?
Yeah, it can be up to, there's different studies that show up to about, anywhere from 40, 50, up to 80% of people could have those symptoms, but they don't know, or maybe they weren't told because they're really focused on attacking the cancer, which is the primary thing when we're trying to go anyway. So the whole goal, I think, if you help save the human, and then on the back end, that's still a victory. But what we're here to do is, after someone has had their journey of maybe some cancer or chemo or radiation, to help serve them to get some of their healing back.
Because this doesn't go away when you stop taking the chemotherapy.
No, it's kind of like a plant. Again, I've always said I'm a farm kid, but if a plant is wilting and dying from whatever the cause, there's really simple things to bounce that back. You get nerve stimulation, you got to get blood flow, the right nutrients and the right things to help heal it. to get things back to ideal. And now, again, we can't turn people back to teenagers or perfect, but I'd say we have about a, yeah, right, believe me, that we're not going to tell people, like, we want to give hope, but not false hope.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, but realistic expectations. We average about 96% of our patients get results or success, but we have to define what that is. Depending on the severity, how long it's been there, 30 to 85% is not uncommon. But if someone has had, tons of medications, tons of surgeries, lots of chemo radiation for a long period of time, and potentially they have maybe not the greatest health, they typically are on the lower end, and we're able to tell that on the front end. But again, our whole goal is to give hope, but not false expectations.
So would you say now, do you still feel some of the neuropathy, or do you feel like you're you're back to normal?
I have just a little bit of tingling every once in a while in my toes, but nothing compared to what it was.
Nothing that bothers you particularly.
Absolutely not. No, I said I could jog if I could jog, but.
And do you still have follow-up then? Is there sort of any maintenance?
I do follow up once a month now after the program.
Okay.
How easy was it for you to keep up with everything you needed to do in the program at the beginning?
Absolutely perfect. We did a lot of home things. There's some home things you have to do, which if you follow the regiment, it's like, you bet, I'm going to do it. So.
How important is it to follow the home remedy?
Huge. And I think that's the best part is a lot of times people are like, well, I don't want to go to the chiropractor 3 times a day. And the cool thing is, since we found or discovered this way to do it, it's majority is done at home. And that's the appealing part, why patients are able to drive so far, because otherwise she'd have to be in our office every single day, and that's just not a feasible thing for anybody's time.
Right.
But when we have the right tools that someone can go home and they got to do their work and make sure they're doing their stuff, but it's pretty simple.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your personal story too, and
You're
telling
welcome.
us more about how you were able to really cure your neuropathy.
Absolutely. I've been putting the word out there.
Yeah.
I tell everybody.
At Axiom Chiropractic and Neuropathy, their mission is to prevent falls and decrease pain and numbness in the legs and feet.
If you're struggling with numb or painful legs or feet, you need to call today before it continues to get worse. Pick up the phone and call right now at 605-215-0323 or learn more at numbfootpain.com. You don't have to suffer anymore. Call today.
This Keloland Living segment has been sponsored by Axiom Chiropractic and Neuropathy, whose focus is helping individuals with numb, painful feet and weak legs get their strength and balance back, the true meaning of health.